Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This week we'll be covering one of the SFX basics that every aspiring SFX MUA should know, bruising. I've tried to make it super simple and affordable for everyone to be able to use though. I'll be covering two techniques, the first being with a Mayron bruise wheel, which you can get on Amazon for about £12, and the second being eyeshadows, which is easily accessible for all. Whether you want to use things you already have laying around or you'd like to invest in your kit, I've got you covered. So first I'll be showing you how to use the bruise wheel. This piece of kit consists of cream paints which don't need water or alcohol to activate them. You can use a sponge, but I find that using my fingers works best. Whether you're doing a newly formed or faded bruise, it's always good to use yellow as a base colour. For a newly formed bruise, I next apply red to create a more mottled look to the skin. Following this, a brown is always a good shout for the more affected areas, i.e. where the most damage has been done. To deepen this, add black. From personal experience, I sometimes get darker spots within a bruise, so I replicate this as I see fit. Blend the areas and add more product until you feel it looks right. Maybe take some photos so you can see how it looks on camera, as this can be different to what you see in real life. Unfortunately, this palette doesn't provide a blue or purple, which can often turn up on new bruises. Next, we're moving on to the faded bruise. Here you should lay down a mixture of yellow and green as the base colour. Add more green to the more affected areas and then brown to darken. If needed, you can add more yellow to the edges of your bruise and some green to get that mottled look. You may also want to add a little brown or red to the more affected areas to create that mottled look again. Now to move on to the eyeshadow method. It's super easy and follows pretty much the same colour steps as with the cream paints. I found that this method is probably better for faded bruising more than anything. I would suggest using a brush with dense bristles for this, as the colour payoff will be much better. If you don't have a dense brush, you can get a blush brush and use a brush sleeve, rubber band or even cling film to get the bristles to sit closer together and have a denser effect. I actually had to do that today because the brush I'd originally planned to use and thought was in this little set was actually drying out from being washed. So for this faded bruise with the eyeshadows, we're laying down yellow and green as a base as before, then I use a mixture of brown, red and purple for the concentrated part of the bruise. You may also want to use some black to darken some of the colouring. The colours used for the eyeshadow method for the newly formed bruises is much the same as the cream paint version, with some purple added to the mix. Finally, once you've let them set for a few minutes, I use powder to set the cream paints. Letting them sit for a while before this step allows them to dry a little and stops any unwanted smudging. This step obviously isn't needed for the eyeshadow method as they're already powders. I will say that the eyeshadows probably aren't as good for long wear as the cream paints are. Each of these methods can be applied to every part of the body and is especially good for showing irritation and bruising around any wounds you might want to create. As a quick example, here's a few facial bruises.